Winter weather in the Pacific Northwest can be unpredictable.
I've never seen anything like this before. It's kind of, this is stuff you see in, in the movies.
You name it, we could get it. Snowstorms.
We begin with some breaking news. A school bus stuck on Highway 26 eastbound just before the Jefferson exit.
There were a lot of people who also abandoned their cars on the highway. Look at this one, right in the middle of Highway 26.
Ice storms.
I'm sliding. My tires aren't turning. I'm sliding.
More than 200 outages they're dealing with more than 93,000 customers impacted. And a lot of it is what they're seeing right here, okay? Trees coming down under the huge weight of the heavy ice.
Wind.
Gusts of more than 100 miles per hour ripped through the coast and tore apart buildings.
You can see that wind. That's what first responders were dealing with all day, which made it difficult to see which cars were involved in the crash.
Atmospheric rivers and flooding.
Dave, it's been a soaker today.
It's been a soaker today, right? And we're just now getting into this system. It's going to continue all weekend long.
With that much flooding going on, the best and quickest reachable way was using a helicopter.
Mill Creek here is now spilling over the bridges that it once flowed under.
What causes these phenomenon? What can we expect this winter? And what can you do to prepare? Wild weather, decoding winter in the Northwest starts right now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this special winter weather edition of KATU News. I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Dave Selesky.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Rhonda Shelby. Over the next half hour, we're going to take a deep dive into types of wild winter weather and what causes it.
Plus, we'll see how you can protect yourself, your home, and your property. And we'll also examine how this winter weather season is shaping up and what you can expect.
First, let's take a look at some of the microclimates in our region and how they shape whether we see wind, rain, snow, ice, or all of the above.
Those microclimates are the Columbia River Gorge, the coast, the West Hills, Willamette Valley, and the Forest Grove effect. The unique geographical and topographical features in these areas, mixed with different weather elements moving from the east and west, can create a variety of weather conditions. Under the right circumstances, those conditions can become extreme. Welcome to the Columbia River Gorge. That's Vista House back behind me. And without the gorge, we would not get winter weather, or very much winter weather, in Western Oregon or in southwestern Washington. Let me explain. Cold air comes in out of Canada, flows over the Rocky Mountains and settles into the Columbia Basin in eastern Oregon and in eastern Washington. That cold air, like it's doing right now, streams down the gorge. As it gets into the gorge itself, the narrow walls of the gorge compress that air, accelerate it. Here at Vista House, we can have wind speeds typically in excess of 80 to 100 miles an hour. As that cold, dense air moves down the gorge and heads towards the metropolitan area, it encounters warmer, moist air coming over the top. That produces snow or freezing rain in western Oregon and in southwestern Washington, of course, in the Portland metropolitan area. The more cold air you have coming from the east, the more moisture you have coming from the west, gives us more snow. Without the gorge, which is essentially a sea level mountain pass, snowy weather, cold winter weather would be very difficult to get in western Oregon.
This next microclimate is the entry point to some of the most impressive and impactful storms of the winter. We're talking about atmospheric rivers. You may have heard that they are these narrow bands of high moisture, very high in the atmosphere, that make their way across the Pacific, sometimes starting in the tropics. Well, that subtropical jet stream, sometimes people call it the Pineapple Express, takes all of this moisture and drives it right up on the land into Oregon or into Washington. Now, the interesting thing about atmospheric rivers is the corridor is really narrow, only about 100 to 200 miles wide. And when it does hit this heavy rain band hitting the Coast Range and also the Cascades, it actually enhances the rainfall and it rains even harder. In fact, sometimes a month's worth of rain can come down in just one atmospheric river. A couple of other interesting things about them. There is so much water vapor in these atmospheric rivers that it could be as much as 15 times the flow of the Mississippi River, and that's all high in the atmosphere. Now, it always features prolonged, heavy, focused rain just on one area, and sometimes that can last anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. It's a big snowmaker for us. You may not know this, but when cold air is present at the lowest levels in the valley and an atmospheric river rides over the top, it could make a lot of snow for the valley, some of our largest snowstorms we've seen here in history. And the other thing I think is most interesting about this is the fact that it is so vital to our water supply here on the West Coast.
One of the cool microclimates we have in the Pacific Northwest, known here locally as the forest grove effect. Cold air gets dammed up against the east side of the coast range, and that air really has nowhere to go, so it just builds and builds and builds. It will actually drop the temperature. It's 30 degrees and snowing in Forest Grove, and yet just a few miles away in Hillsborough, it's 36 and rain. Up in the West Hills, it is the only urban snow zone in a major U.S. city. We know if you drive up Barnes Road or you come over Cornelius Pass, 500 feet, you see those signs, you must carry snow or traction devices. Like we said, it's the only major urban snow zone in the U.S. Down in the Willamette Valley, we are concerned about ice storms every winter. And one reason why, that cold air from the gorge, it builds, moves south, but it's very dense and the air sinks to the ground. Therefore, we have warm air that rides over top of it, and you get ice storms. We've seen that in years past in Salem, Corvallis, Junction City as well. We had a real bad one a few years ago in Wilsonville. Here's why we get ice. Like I said, you have the moisture that is falling. It moves through an area of warm air. It melts, and then it freezes again on contact as the surface is under 32 degrees. Sleet, same thing. The snowflakes, they melt, but they have a chance to refreeze before they hit the ground. And of course, we love snow. A chance it just starts to snow, falls all the way to the ground. That's what we hope for each and every winter.
Still ahead, stuck in a storm in your car, what you should keep with you in case of emergency.
Plus, why wait for stormy weather? What you can do to start preparing your home for winter weather right now.
This is heartbreaking to see the damage.
It took me like 6 hours to get home from a 10-mile away spot.
When winter weather hits the Northwest, it can hit hard and unexpectedly.
In February of 2023, more than 600 cars were abandoned and left on Portland roads after several inches of snow fell in a matter of hours.
Joe English explains how you can be prepared if this happens to you.
Now, I don't usually wear this hat until it actually starts snowing, but since we're talking about being prepared, hey, maybe pick one up for yourself. Before you get on the road, though, do some preventative maintenance. Make sure your tires are inflated the right way, make sure your windshield wipers are in good shape, and make sure that you have gas in the gas tank. So much for what's going on outside your car. Let's talk about what you need to have inside.
Let's start with a duffel bag, or something at least, to keep as many things together as best you can. Now we'll narrow the list down to the 10 things the experts like AAA and Red Cross say you should have. Off the top, a first aid kit, tire chains and jumper cables, a flashlight, and don't forget the extra batteries, water, food and snacks, extra blankets and clothing, reflective triangles or some kind of warning device, an ice scraper and a brush, and a shovel for clearing the snow and spreading cat litter or sand or even bird seed, anything to get traction when you get stuck, and a portable power bank for charging a cell phone. On the honorable mention list, let's throw in a lighter, a roll of duct tape, and some games, or a deck of cards for when you get stuck for who knows how long. Now it's time to get behind the wheel and get going. Take it slow. leaving plenty of space between you and the vehicle in front of you. Brake early and easy and avoid sudden acceleration. And if you go into a skid, steer in the direction of the skid. All of this should at least give you an edge up on winter weather driving. Joe English, KATU News.
Just a couple of more things. When you're on the road, watch for snowplows and sanding trucks and give them plenty of room. If the visibility is 0 or near 0, pull over to a safe place, like a parking lot, not the shoulder of the road, until visibility improves. When a storm hits, the best place to be is at home. If you haven't started to winterize your house yet, you may want to start.
KATU's Avery Elowitz spoke with Portland Fire and Rescue about steps you can take and what to do in case of an emergency.
Whether you spend Christmas Eve bundled up by the fireplace or a space heater, there are some safety precautions that Portland Fire and Rescue says you should take.
Is your house ready for when winter weather strikes? Rick Graves with Portland Fire and Rescue shares that protecting the inside of your home starts by getting outside.
Here at the Graves house, put an extension onto our downspout from our rain gutter off the roof. That allows the water to be collected on the roof of my home, and then it drops it 12 feet away from the foundation of my home.
Graves adds that one of the most important things to know is where your valve box is and investing in a water key. That way, if your pipe bursts and causes a leak,
you can get down there and all you have to do is turn this 90 degrees and it shuts the water off, and then I can turn it right back on.
Should the power go out, Graves says his family is prepared and has a backup plan.
We have in our shed outside of our home, we have another small propane little barbecue unit that is specifically for emergency use in that case. So we'll have food, we'll have the ability to heat it in a safe environment.
If there's a power outage and you're running on a generator,
operate the generator outside of your home and make sure that the exhaust from that generator is venting away from your home and it's not headed toward an intake vent so that you get the toxic fumes that can overcome individuals.
And to refuel the generator, first shut it off, let it cool, then put the cap back on before turning it back on. For space heaters,
you want to make sure that the area in front of it is totally free of anything that has the ability to ignite or catch fire. Make sure you plug it directly into a grounded outlet.
Or if you're opting to stay warm by the fireplace, Graves says to make sure it's clear of any soot blockages. And should you come across a down power line, to stay away and call 911. Avery Elowitz, KATU News.
During winter storms, strong winds, heavy snow and ice can wreak havoc, bringing down trees and power lines.
KATU's Sarah Bagby shows us how to protect and maintain your trees for winter.
Property owners know that they have to take care of their roof, their gutters, the yard. That's just part of the process. But we leave out the trees, and as Avery was saying, we have to take care of the house to prep for winter, but we also have to take care of the outside, which includes those trees. So I met with a couple of professional arborists to find out some tips on how to best take care of your trees.
With more winter storms likely, the name of the game is prevention.
Hey guys!
Hey, nice to meet you.
So we met with Davey tree experts to learn how to prepare.
We have a lot of trees that have overextended long limbs that are very heavy, right? As you get a snow load or an ice load, those can tend to break. We can reduce those limbs back to laterals so they're shorter and there's not as much snow load and stress on that.
Arborist Leo Katz says there are some things that homeowners can do right now to prevent bigger problems down the road.
Something I always tell homeowners to keep an eye out for is tip dieback. So if you start to notice dead leaves or dead twigs toward the end of the branch, again, it could be a good time to make that pruning cut. And especially in lower branches, something I would really want to keep an eye on is the natural silhouette of the tree. So again, thinking about the shape, and if there happens to be a branch that sticks out a little further than the rest, if it's a smaller branch close to the ground, maybe you're a homeowner, you can take care of it yourself. But in general, I'd recommend calling an arborist and having us come take a look.
It's recommended to check your trees twice a year, once in the late spring and again in the early fall before the leaves have fallen.
What are the most common calls you're getting?
Yeah, so usually after storms, usually after ice storms and rainstorms, and there's overextended limbs that have failed. Ideally, they're something that we can handle. Sometimes we get calls that are on power lines, which kind of adds a whole different beast to what we can do to the tree.
If a power line does come down near you, assume it's live and dangerous. Don't touch it. Stay at least 30 feet away and move away by shuffling your feet. If you're inside a car, stay there until the lines have been de-energized and officials give you the all clear. So to prevent these sort of dangers in the first place, prepping your trees for winter is key. The arborists say that most tree companies will do these tree assessments free of charge, ensuring better safety and the long-time health of your trees. In Northeast Portland, Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Sarah Bagby.
Still to come, will this winter be long and rainy, cold and snowy, or mild?
We'll break down the seasonal outlook and what conditions you can see where you live.
It has come up about a foot in the past hour or so.
Now that we have seen where winter comes from and how microclimates affect our weather, what's in store for this winter?
The latest NOAA outlook says that La Nina is likely to continue for the next month or two and then transition to neutral conditions, most likely January to March. That means the climate will not be influenced by either La Nina or El Nino.
It's called La Nina season because of cooler sea surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean that move from the west coast of South America.
In many of our La Nina winters here, we experience wetter and cooler conditions than average. When it comes to temperatures, though, we haven't seen that cooling trend yet in December. We've been above average, and only recently have we seen an uptick in total precipitation.
So December, January, and February, outlook said we finally may match our normal temperatures. Bottom line, that means for northern Oregon and southwestern Washington, temperatures fall below normal, valley rain, then mountain snow. And the precipitation, it's above average.
Let's do a little more history about La Nina.
Okay.
Typically, La Nina conditions bring rain and snow in large amounts to the Pacific Northwest. Since 1951, there have been 25 La Nina winters.
All right, let me throw some numbers at you. At government camp, the average snowfall in a La Nina year is 300 inches. That is more than in an El Nino year where we have 225 inches. In the last 6 years, we failed to reach that 300-inch average in a La Nina year. And so far in 2025-26, the ski season, it's off to a really lousy start. Only a few inches of snow so far at area resorts.
Oh, hope we can pick that up. Well, what about the Portland area? We have had 9 La Nina winters and 2 neutral years going back the last 20 years. In those 11 years total, 9 of them have seen measurable snow, with 4 of those years seeing more than 10 inches of snow in those winters. The National Weather Service office located in Parkrose has recorded snow for a now record-setting 10th consecutive winter. It's the longest streak since records began in 1940.
All right, so the big question is now, will we see snow in Portland this year? You want to go out on a limb?
Okay, let's talk historically for a second.
Okay.
We actually do have a better chance of seeing low elevation snow in La Nina or neutral years. We just got through talking about that's what the rest of our winter looks like and what we're about to experience for the rest of the winter. According to our weather history, chances are pretty good.
All right, snow tires on.
Hey everybody, we are up here at Timberline Lodge with our friends here who are pretty rambunctious. These are those wonderful Ambassador St. Bernards you see, Heidi and Bruno, and their handler Emily, who's trying to get a hold of them right now. Carrying on the fine tradition here at Timberline Lodge, welcoming all the visitors, by the way. So if you come up here, you're likely to run into one or run into both.
Yes, and as we shoot this in the middle part of December, as you can see, Timberline has no snow. But that'll be changing in the next few weeks, so when this special airs over the Christmas holiday, keep your fingers crossed, there may be 2 or 3 feet of snow where we're standing right now.
Spoiler alert, maybe.
Spoiler
maybe
alert.
On Christmas Eve we'll have enough snow for at least the opening of 1 or 2 of the runs. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. In the meantime, get up here and see these 2 beautiful dogs.
And just get up here and see Timberline Lodge because it's an icon of Oregon.
I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Rhonda Shelby.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Dave Selesky. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of K2 News.
If you want weather updates at your fingertips, download the Storm Tracker 2 weather app to get accurate hour-by-hour forecasts where you live. It's free in the Apple Store and on Google Play.
Thank you for watching.
Good night, everybody.
And happy holidays.